I'm John Batchelor. My colleague and co-host Thaddeus McCotter is at WJR in Detroit. Thaddeus lives, he tells me, in Wayne County. You who know the landscape, follow this. Wayne County contains Detroit. Thaddeus represented for many years the 11th Congressional District of Livonia. However, we now look at Oakland County because there's a profile in the New Yorker. This is Martin Luther King Day, and the New Yorker is featuring stories that are about American politics, troubled American politics. That was part of Dr. King's legacy, to deal with urban America. Detroit is certainly urban America in trouble. This, though, requires interpretation, and I depend on my friend Thaddeus, who knows Detroit politics very well. This is an election year in Michigan. Mr. McCotter reminds me the governor, the attorney general, all the state offices are up for review. His name is L. Brooks Patterson. He's the Oakland County executive, the boss. He's an elderly man. The New Yorker is featuring, however, quotes that are extremely negative about Detroit. The piece is entitled Drop Dead Detroit. I've not read it, but I've read this part. Quoting from Mr. Patterson, anytime I talk about Detroit, it's not positive. Therefore, I'm a Detroit basher. The truth hurts, you know? And then he goes on to be vulgar. Thaddeus, why is L. Brooks Patterson speaking poorly of Detroit? How does this help him? Good evening again.
Good evening, John. I don't think it helps anybody, and I would be very curious as to the genesis of the piece, the actual quotes, if they were in context. But when you look at what was printed, it poses a problem for Republicans. You know how this works. Now, every Republican that is running for office with his endorsement, seeking his endorsement, anyone in the state, is going to be asked, do you agree that this Detroit should drop dead? Do you agree Detroit is someplace that is unsavory? And in this age of conciliation that dates back at least as far as the auto industry crisis, where everybody's trying to get together and get on the same page, it poses enormous amounts of problems, not only for Republicans, but for the ability for the people in charge of the counties, in charge of the cities at the municipal level to actually cooperate at this point.
Is Oakland doing well? Are they well-to-do?
Oakland borders Wayne County. It's a very prosperous county. It's one of the most prosperous in the country. Now, one of the stories that this type of article will eclipse is the fact that while Mr. Patterson has been county executive, you've seen integration of people from Detroit into Oakland County without incident, and is relatively smoothly, more smoothly than anybody could have imagined, than you would expect from a metropolitan statistical area that was once the most heavily segregated in the world. You've also had instances where Mr. Patterson had good working relationships with the mayors of Detroit, such as Mayor Archer, and I think with Mayor Bing. So the question becomes, why this, why now, and why is the New Yorker running with it?
Does this help hurt the governor? Does this help hurt the Republicans in the state? Is it too early to tell?
I think it's going to hurt. Governor Snyder has made very difficult decisions regarding the city of Detroit, such as the emergency financial manager, which we've talked about, the Detroit going into bankruptcy. And he's been very careful never to be strident in any of his rhetoric and to seek to work with the mayor, Mayor Bing at the time, of Detroit regarding these issues to try to find consensus. In short, Governor Snyder has gone out of his way to avoid being a polarizing figure. My concern is that they may be trying to make Mr. Patterson into a surrogate polarizing figure to try to drive out the Democratic vote and to try to paint Republicans all as intolerant and thus strike a blow vicariously at individuals like Governor Snyder.
I meet him for the first time in this article. This comes from the Detroit Free Press, so this is a picture chosen with discerning eyes. He looks like an extremely elderly, grumpy person. Is he?
No, he's been a very vital individual for many decades. He's recently, last year, I think it was 2 years ago, was in a very bad car accident, but he's by no means frail. He's by no means elderly. And so for this type of article to appear, especially at this period of time, especially on Martin Luther King Jr.'s national holiday, strikes me as one of the worst timed eruptions of what could be Brooks Vesuvius that we've seen in quite some time.
Is Oakland a place where people think we took Detroit's business? Is that how it works in the area? Wayne is Detroit and Oakland took your business.
No, those were the old school politics when they were after the riots and after the busing issues, when everybody left or went to Macomb or Oakland or Western Wayne. That's the politics of the past, and that's why this outburst, if it is in fact accurate, strikes me as very out of date. It's very Paleozoic in a way. Because now, John, a Republican like yourself would feel very at home in Oakland County. They're very moderate. They understand the importance of Detroit becoming a vital city again to the entire region. They go out of their way as moderate Republicans to avoid any indication that they're being intolerant or not willing to work for the betterment of Detroit and the region. So it's a dated type of outburst that, if accurate, just strikes me as very odd.
The Free Press ends the piece by saying the Free Press is attempting to reach the New Yorker for comment. I guess they were not successful by press time. Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan, do I say that correctly, Mag?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
It's
Duggan has declined comment. Now, why would he decline? He wants to get away from Patterson. Is Patterson a feared figure in the area?
No, Mr. Duggan has known County Executive Patterson forever. In fact, Mayor Duggan worked for the County Executive of Wayne County, Mr. McNamara, for years. So there's a lot of history there. They've worked together on issues. They've not worked together on issues. But I don't think it's by any means a bad relationship. I think what Mayor Duggan has done by not commenting is to try to keep the door open for continued cooperation with County Executive Patterson. And it also shows, I think, the strength that Mayor Duggan has at present within the African-American community of Detroit, obviously predominantly it's a majority-minority city. And so he doesn't feel the need to engage in any type of tit-for-tat or any type of baiting with county executive to curry favor amongst the voters of Detroit. I thought it was a very shrewd move by the Mayor Duggan.
Summing this up, Thaddeus, is this this piece, trouble in Michigan?
I think if he can explain it properly and point to the things that he's done in the past, it will not be a problem. I think the problem comes if it isn't a mistake, it isn't explained properly, and Republicans do not distance themselves from it if it is accurate.
Thaddeus McCotter in Detroit, Michigan, Wayne County. As I learn the landscape from Thaddeus. I get my Google Earth and I see it all at WJR, the great voice of the Great Lakes. Oakland County Executive L. Brooks Patterson, featured in the New Yorker. I look forward to it. The title tells you a lot. Drop Dead Detroit. I'm John Batchelor.